Right, today we're going to be talking about the 5 advertising mistakes that I commonly see across client accounts. So we'll start here by looking at expectations. So what I commonly see is that people will set up one ad and they'll put maybe $3 on it or $5 on it, using a stock image and just thinking that that is what their definition of what trying Facebook is. On any other platform that you use, any other type of traditional media, you wouldn't expect to put $5 down or $10 down and then get a result from that. But for some reason, when people look at digital marketing in these platforms, because the cost can be so cheap to get started and start testing, that you actually expect a sale from spending $3 or $5 or $10, which is not the right expectations. What you need to do is about being a detective and setting up multiple ads with different creatives, different images, different headlines, different text, video, carousel, whatever it may be, and you want to see what works. So what you're doing when you're investing in Facebook advertising or any type of advertising platform is, number one, finding out what doesn't work, and secondly, you're finding out what does work. So you want to do less of what doesn't work and more of the what does work. But a lot of people aren't even looking at their results. So let's move to the next one. Not learning. Now, this is what I'm talking about here, is that you're actually putting money into Facebook. It's not money lost, it's money invested, but it's only money invested if you actually learn from what you're actually doing. Now, Facebook are going to find every way what's not going to work for your ad. So don't expect your ads to work, out the gate. They're actually more than likely not going to work out the gate, because Facebook are trying to see where your ads actually don't work. Now, there are certain tips and tricks you can do to actually make Facebook give you some fast wins, but they don't have longevity, and that is a strategy where you can actually set up an ad set and get it running for a few days, and you continually start up other ad sets, because if you're on a small enough budget, you're actually forcing Facebook to find those winners for you, because they want you to continue advertising with them. But that's a strategy in itself. But the point here is actually to learn from what you're doing. You're spending the money, that's what you're buying, and take a look at the results. Now, the next thing is looking at results in isolation. You may have heard, you want to get high CTR rate, which is your click-through rate. You want to get low CPCs, which is your cost per clicks. You want to get the highest ROAS, which is your return on ad spend. Now, all of these things in isolation don't actually mean anything, because if you were just going to pick ads based on the highest CTR rate, they not be the ones that are actually producing the purchases and giving you the positive ROAS for your advertising campaigns. And the difficulty is that there's no linear connection. Just because you change X doesn't mean you're going to get Y, because there's a lot of things that come into play when you're looking at these things. This is why you have to spend the time, get inside your Facebook Ads Manager, looking at the results and actually tracking them, writing things down if you have to, and see what types of images are working with people, what type of angles are resonating with people, what type of headlines are resonating with people. Do they like emojis? Do they like OMG type language, as a younger audience? Or are they straight shooters? Do they just want clean kind of language, business type language? And that's up to your audience to decide, not for you to decide. Next thing is not spending enough money. Now, I see this time and time again, is that people come across and they're spending $3 on their Facebook ads campaign. They're wondering why it doesn't work. Now, we all want to test. Testing comes from spending a little bit of money and just dipping your toes in the water. That's all fine and good, except for when it comes to scaling, that you actually have to spend a lot more, and then Facebook will take you seriously, and they think that you're actually an A player and you're actually in this game to actually play by their rules and make things work. So if you're not spending enough money, you're not going to get enough data back, and there'll be just false starts. So if you spend $3 and you get a sale in the first half an hour, you might think, yeah, I've cracked it, and then you double that budget to $6, and then you find that it doesn't work anymore, because you've actually doubled that ad spend, and then you throw the algorithm out, and there's a number of things that happen there. So there's a lot of rules that apply to everything you apply to your account. For example, a lot of people swear by not increasing your budget by more than 20% every few days. Now, there's other people that will say that they ramp up their ad spend dramatically. They'll be spending $10 one day, and then they're going to be spending $500 the next day. So, and that has worked for them. So it all just depends on your market and how things are working, how much audience you have there, what's the reach on your account, how good is your Facebook advertising account. There's all these things that come into consideration. But you need to be spending more money, but you've got to be looking at your results and learning from, everything that's happening within your account. And then trying to outsmart the all-seeing eye, which is the Facebook algorithm. Facebook is getting smarter and smarter, and all other platforms are as well, because it's got AI there and they can make a gazillion calculations a minute compared to that human being. So what do you want to do? You want to set it and forget it sometimes. Like, you just want to leave it for a couple of days and see what the results are without poking in there and changing things, because you'll never get a campaign that works properly if you do that. Now, you've got to have a pixel installed for a start. Now, there's a lot of people that come to us and they don't even have a pixel, so therefore you're not collecting any data and can't make decisions in order to get positive results with your Facebook advertising. So you need that pixel installed, and that is your all-seeing eye. And then you've got to learn how to actually carve out the information you want from that all-seeing eye, that thing that's capturing everything, and what parts of that you actually want, and whether different parts of those are overlapping each other, and how to exclude those so you're not just bombarding people with the same traffic and you're actually competing against yourself. There's a lot of anomalies as well when it comes to the ads and how it all works, but these are things you have to learn as you go. I'm learning something every single day when I'm on Facebook, and you have to be in this game to win it, and you have to understand what things you're looking at, how to use the automations to your benefit. For example, you could set very broad audiences. It could be men aged 25 to 45 and based in Auckland, for example. That could just be your demographic in itself without any interest. You have to try that against another setting. So you have another ad set competing against that with more interest in there. It could be weight loss, could be a magazine type, could be a particular author or a speaker or a business group, could be anything like that. So you've got to look at how you're going to actually comparing apples to oranges. You want complete differences so you can actually get some distinct definition around what's successful and what isn't. And as you get closer and prune things down, then you can start to change little things, try a little bit of a different interest or a different age range and things like that to actually refine that. But you want to start off with the broadest market you can, because if you can get a broad market to be working on Facebook, it means that you've got massive scale, infinite scale, compared to a little tight interest group. So the more things you add when you're in the ad set level, that's where you actually set your targeting, you set your interests and set your audiences. The more things you put in there and the more overlap, like you got a 1% lookalike audience with a 5%, with a 10%, or whatever that may be, the more layered things you have in there, the harder you make the Facebook algorithm work, the more you're actually going to pay for those costs per click. So just keep that in mind. These are things to keep in consideration as well, because it doesn't matter if you're paying $10 a click if you're getting a positive ROAS, of 2, 3, 5 or 8 times your ad spend. That's the thing that you take to the bank. You don't take the CTRs to the bank, and you don't take the lowest cost per click to the bank. It's all about what you're getting in your pocket at the end of the day. So that's it for now. That was just a quick 5 things that we see on a regular basis, and I hope you get some value from this and really approach the Facebook advertising like a detective. So anyway, we'll see you in the next video.